Hey, Seekers, and welcome back to the Hanged Woman podcast. I'm your host, Julienne Irons, and this month we're exploring a theme I have been so looking forward to, a perspective shift on past lives. And not just who we might have been before, but how those stories still live in us today. Now, when we talk about past lives, some people picture ancient temples, hypnotic trances, or deja vu that feels too vivid to explain. Others see it more symbolically, as patterns we inherit, repeat, and eventually heal. Either way, these stories have something to teach us about who we are now. To start the series, we're beginning where I love to begin, with the practical. How can past life awareness actually help us live better? Calmer, freer, more aligned, right here in this lifetime. My guest today is Indra Kelly, a transformational coach and energy healer who helps people use past life wisdom as a tool for present-day healing. Her program, Energy Alchemy Transformation, guides people through clearing old energy, learning to heal themselves, and connecting with their higher guidance. Indra has this grounded, heart-centered way of making the mystical make sense. She doesn't just talk about energy. She empowers people to learn how to work with it. This is the Hanged Woman podcast where perspective is power. And let's get into it. Hey, fellow seekers. I'm taking a quick pause from the show to share something really close to my heart. And honestly, the only reason you're even listening to this podcast right now. It's Three of Cups. My sisters and I created Three of Cups, an Iron Sisters mission of love, as a space for healing, beauty, growth, and community, because we believe life is meant to be full, rich, and abundant in every way. We offer all kinds of ways to support you. Energy healing, heart-centered art, even marketing that will help you enhance your brand's presence in the world. Because wherever you are in your journey, we want to help you feel seen, supported, and empowered. So if you're looking for something to help fill your cup in whatever way you need, come join us. Follow us on Instagram at 3 of Cups Healing, or explore all of our offerings at 3ofcupshealing.com. Because Seeker, your cup deserves to be full. And now, back to the episode. Indra, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you on. Your work is really profound, and I just find it so exciting. Like when I was looking at your website and reading up about you, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to sit down with you and have a conversation. I've got goosebumps and it just feels so fun.
It feels so fun. Usually what I teach my clients is that when you do get goosebumps, when you do get the
Yeah.
chills, that's your spirit and your spirit team, just confirming everything. Everything feels good. Everything is a yes.
I love that. Everything feels very much like a yes right now. Full body yes. All right. So, Indra, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the work that you do?
So, from a young child, I, of course, had my imaginary best friend, as most children do. So, children are actually so open to connecting with the other side when they are from infant all the way up to the ages of 7. And that is why most kids have imaginary best friends, because they are connecting with their spirit team. So, I was doing that at a very young age. And I would also see spirit in the form of shadows. I was highly intuitive. I could read a room. I could feel the energy. I was super empathic as a child, and I still am to this day. I knew that I was different. I just didn't know. I didn't have the words to describe it. I didn't know. No one was talking about being intuitive, right? And no
Right.
one was talking about having these empath abilities and feelings. And when I remember when I was in 7th grade, my history teacher pulled me aside and he's like, you're very intuitive. And he's like, you need to look into this. And so I thought, oh, intuitive.
Seventh grade.
7th grade. Yeah. My history
Wow.
teacher, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Mr.
I know. I
Stewart.
can't remember the person I met yesterday, but I can remember Mr. Stewart from. So he told me that I was intuitive and he had me look into it. And so I thought, intuitive, oh, this is kind of fun. So I just connected it with tarot cards. I was like, oh yeah, let's go this route. But it seemed so natural to me and so just effortless, right? This was just a part of who I am. And I kind of just put it on the side because I didn't know or trust that I could do it myself. So I relied on other people to do it for me. And I had this like affinity for psychics and mediums. And like I was, starting in my early 20s, I was getting like readings. And I always found it so interesting and I loved it. And I just gravitated towards it. And then when I was in my 30s, I had an energy healing session. And it was my first one for energy healing. And when I was on the table, she was doing energy work on me and I got really, really hot. Like my body got really hot and I was kind of sweating. And all of a sudden her smoke alarm, the detector went off.
Oh.
It was like this like big burst of energy. Like it had to have been and energy that just like combusted. And it
Mm.
was like the alarm went off and she looked at me and she's like, I don't even have a candle lit. She's like, I don't even know how this happened. And so she opened up the windows, kind of aired out the place, and it went off. It was just like on for like a few seconds and then it went off.
Wow.
And it's happened to me before. I'd been doing energy work on myself, and my smoke detector will like do like a weird like boop,
What?
boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I
That's
know.
so cool. That's so cool.
It's like a magic trick. I'm like, I don't know how I do this.
Wow.
So after that, I was like, you know what? There's something to it, and it was just like a real tight gravitational pull towards energy healing. And then I just wasn't getting the message, right? I just wasn't like, oh, this wasn't something I needed to do. It was something that I can go do, go get from somebody.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then as my guides are, just like nudging me, like, no, girl, you can do this. So I went to another energy healer and she looked at me and she was like, no, you can do this. Your guides are telling you that you are more powerful than I am when it comes to this stuff.
Mm.
And her sessions weren't that, they weren't that cheap. So she like looked at me and she's like, let's do a trade. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do a trade with you.
Yeah.
Like, fingers crossed it works for you. So I went there. We did a trade. She was having some shoulder trouble. She had a concussion that she was like getting chronic migraines from. So she like listed out her ailments, and I worked on her, and her shoulder pain went away. Her chronic headache
Wow.
went away, and then all of a sudden, I started to also channel. And so the energy, so I was always intuitive in the sense of like having like clairsentience, so the clear knowing or feeling, and clair cognizant, which is clear knowing. Um, and the clairvoyancy and clairaudiency, I definitely, right? As a child, I would
Yeah.
see spirit, I could hear them. So now I'm putting all the pieces together and I'm like, oh, I can do this. And
Yeah.
now I'm understanding why I was able to hear, see, feel, and know, throughout my whole life. Maybe not all at once,
Mm.
but it would just trickle in. Certain clairs stuck with me a little bit stronger. Because it was just a trusting that they would always work, right? I
Right.
was like, oh, I just know that. And then it would happen. And then I started building trust with it. But
Right.
when I started to do energy healing, that's when all my clairs started to come into play. And so I seeked out a mentor who's now like one of my closest friends. And I love her so much. I was actually talking to her this morning.
Mm.
And working with the energy and working with my intuition simultaneously together is when all of it started to strengthen so much. So I started to realize it's not just that I'm doing multidimensional healing. I'm going into past lives. I'm going across like these like dimensions and healing parts of us in different lifetimes, in different dimensions, in different realms. That is my journey. And, lucky for me, I had supportive parents growing up too. So it wasn't that I was an outcast in my family. My dad is intuitive. My mom is a super manifester. She can she's like a genie.
Wow.
So I was like well supported in my family with that. It was just a little bit more difficult to come out to my friends.
God, it just always makes me wonder what my life would be or who I would be if I had parents that were more into like the intuitive side of who we are rather than the religious side of who they thought we should be. Because I know that I'm an intuitive person. I know that I have gifts in me that have just been squashed down because I grew up in an environment where that was considered evil and not of God. So now trying to like understand those parts of myself is really like just unlocking a box that's been I haven't had the key for so long. You know what I mean?
To each his own, right?
Right.
Like everyone has their own
Yes,
beliefs.
absolutely.
But in my way of thought, in my belief, is that religion was built to control societies. It was organized by men to control society, right? Keep them in line, keep
Right.
them orderly. If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. Or if you do this, it's a sin, right?
Right.
When the original meaning of sin was just missing the mark. They just made a mistake.
Mm,
But then man and society said, if you make a mistake, there should be a punishment. It didn't
mm,
say punishment. God would never punish anybody.
right.
We're all God's children. He would never punish anybody. Also, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, they're out there energy healing and being intuitive too.
Right? I'm like, wait a second. Jesus literally healed people with his hands. Turned water into wine like he was an alchemist.
Alchemy. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
fascinating. Oh, let's talk about past lives. How do you, Indra, how do you personally define past lives? When you use this language with your clients, what does it actually mean to you?
So our soul comes to Earth and, other, galaxies, right? And where we can, like, there's all these different parts. So we kind of like break apart into these like fractals. And since time is not linear, it's stacked on top of each other. Our soul is like expanded into all these different little fractals, and we are simultaneously living all of these different experiences so that our soul can heal, grow, evolve, learn, all of these different things all at once almost.
Ah,
So we have all of these different experiences. And the reason I think that they call them past lives is because our brain can understand that,
mm,
right? Like our
right,
brain understands linear. Our brain has a really hard time trying to figure out that everything is happening all at once because how? How, right? We're just a fractal of our soul. We're here. This is
mm,
us, but we're also simultaneously living in other dimensions and other realities, right? So everything's stacked. So when I'm explaining it to a client, I'm also approaching it with a lot of curiosity at the same time because our brains like to work with a curiosity. Like we don't like to be told what to think, but we like to be given like options. Like, could this happen? Could that happen? So with past life, it's like more like an exploration. It's more like a tool of like self-discovery and healing. So like relationships, like why we have these unexplained fears. Why are we repeating same relationship patterns, right? Like
right.
all of that kind of stuff. So when I get the client interested in that type of conversation, getting them curious about different crazy dynamics with our family. Like we all have them, right? So that sparks
Yeah.
a little curiosity, or why we keep attracting the same relationship patterns. That attracts a little curiosity. Why we have unexplained fears. That attracts a little bit more curiosity. And when you start going at it
Mm,
that way, it's easier to explain that we are experiencing this on so many different levels. Our soul is out there experiencing on so different levels. And we're all made of energy, right? So the energy then trickles back
mhm,
to us. It's kind of like an echo, right? Or like a little like, like a wave.
mm,
And it comes back to us. So when we are living like a traumatic situation in another lifetime, we are then also receiving. It's part of us. It's part of us already. So energetically, we're receiving that trauma from another lifetime, and it kind of works its
oh,
way to us because we're whole, right? We come from the same source. We just, it was like,
wow.
it was like our soul, which is like our higher self, right? That's
Yeah.
our highest being. And it was like 1, 2, 3, break, and like little fractals went out, and it was like go experience human, and
Hmm.
in every sense and way, and in every timeline, and just go 1, 2, 3, break. And so we're just simultaneously like learning all of this stuff, and some of it trickles back to us. And then also, so there's like it's called like energetic footprints. We see all these videos on social media of like these like little kids playing the piano, and they're like playing like Bach and like Beethoven and artists, and they're like these little kids, and they're like painting like these like masterpieces. Or there's that one little boy on social media, and he's like a clothing designer, like he's a fashion designer, and he's like 7, or whatever, how old he is. Our soul remembers all of these innate gifts that we had in previous lifetimes, well, they're still happening, but in lifetimes. And so we are receiving these energetic, innate gifts that we've mastered in other lifetimes, and we know how to do them. That's why, like, certain things come so easily to people. Like
Wow.
maybe you love cooking and you've never really opened a cookbook, but everything comes naturally to you. I mean, you could be like this most amazing chef in this
Mm.
other lifetime, right?
Right.
And it just comes so easily to you. Or maybe you have this weird feeling about the ocean and you don't like it. It's a fear. It makes you just cringe inside. You cry, you get really anxious, and you don't like it. In another lifetime, you might have drowned. There could have
Mm.
been like a really horrible accident in water, and you're receiving that emotional, right? That energetic footprint of that emotion. And like I said, like like repeated relationship patterns. And this is really interesting too, because with a lot of this stuff and with like relationship patterns, we travel as a soul family.
Hmm.
So we have a soul family. And so in different lifetimes, we have these situations, right? Like someone abused you, someone left you. And we're trying to figure them out in every lifetime. So that soul family will follow each other, and the dynamics will switch. So, like, for instance, you and I could have been sisters in one, and now we're friends. Everyone you meet in your lifetime is actually part of it's like your,
You're part of my soul family.
yeah, we're all part of a little soul web. We all
Oh,
find each other.
oh, I love
Like when
that.
you need help, or when there's a transition in your life, or when you need to learn something. The really cool part is that we arrange it before we come here. So we're like, hey,
Oh.
I'm going to be a specialist in this, and you're going to do podcasts, and you're going to interview me. We arrange it ahead of time to help us grow and help us evolve and help us expand in this. So this is why, like, when you like see somebody, and I'll just say it's a guy, for example. So you meet a man and you're like, oh my God, he looked so familiar when I saw him. It's soul recognition because your souls have already been together. And then it's like a really tumultuous relationship, and you're like, where did that even come from? It's like, and you're learning self-worth, you're learning independence, you're learning not to be codependent, you're learning all these things because
Mm.
that soul was brought to you,
Mm.
because in a past life you guys went through that whole bit of shenanigans, so they come to help you relearn. And sometimes there's most of the time there's soul contracts, and that's where they all come from. It's past life, right? So we've got to like work together and evolve, and this is why we're here. It's so much unpacking. It's like
Wow.
past lives really, really, I think they go hand in hand with having a human life.
It's so fascinating because as you're talking, my brain is trying to wrap itself around the concept that everything is happening all at the same time. If somebody's afraid of the ocean in a past life, they could have died in the ocean. I guess what I'm trying to understand is like, when does that death happen and when does the fear become a part of my makeup?
So that emotional memory of being drowned, right, impacted that fractal of the soul. So that soul dies,
Oh,
and the emotional, like that memory,
yeah,
that lifetime memory is already imprinted in that fractal of that part, right? So we are receiving that also.
got it.
Do like past life regression. When I do like the healing, it's kind of like it kind of like goes back to like the motherboard,
Hmm.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's like a little place of like, and like then we can like talk about like the Akashic records later,
Yeah.
but it kind of like goes back into like the motherboard of the soul. And so we can go there to retrieve the memory of different parts of all of our lives.
That is so cool.
Yeah, which is really, it's like fascinating. I've never
Yeah.
called it the motherboard before, but that was the name they,
I love
so I'm
it.
going with
I love
it.
it. Let's go with motherboard. It feels right.
You have past lives, but also like we're all in the same spot, right? Present, future, and past. So in like with the future, like when you just get all of these like ideas of things you want to do and like people use this as like manifesting and you
Hmm.
can like see your future and like see like what you want, like, yeah, I see my house. I see it so clearly. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you get this house because
Yeah.
it's already happened. It's in the future. It's like there. So your future self, like your past self, is also trickling information back to you because it's all energetic. So if you're in alignment with that lifetime, like that's where it's going. It's already happened. You've already bought the house. The house is yours. So it's about like getting the house back. But also like,
Mm.
and we're in alignment in that lifetime, right? It's like you're not going to get the house of you living in Bombay, like, because you're not in alignment with that life, that's not yours. That's in a different reality, a different dimension, but you are a different part of your soul living that life.
Yeah. It's a different part of your soul. So cool. So it's like those visualizations that I have. Like I do the Joe Dispenza changing beliefs and perceptions meditation. I've been doing it pretty much every day for a while now, and I have this like vision that keeps coming to me that makes me so happy and gives me so much joy. Like it's so crystal clear too. And so like that is my future self being like, this is it, baby girl.
Yeah.
That is so cool. How exciting.
And that's why, like, a lot of the times you feel pushed and pulled to do something.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I need to do that. I need to do that because it's so in alignment with where you're going. And it's your higher self saying, do it so you
Yeah.
can get to the next step because we're on our way. You've got to come too.
And I keep hearing my higher self be like, don't worry about it being logical. She's
Hmm.
like, this is not, you can't logically understand how you're going to get from where you are to where the vision is. She's like, that's not your job. Just keep holding the vision. That's it.
I got goosebumps. It's not our job.
So I literally have this vision. I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to happen. Not a clue, but it feels so real. And I literally higher self, don't worry about it. It's not your job to think of, it's not your job to think about the how of it.
Our soul family comes into play and it's like
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. And then we
Yeah.
we go together.
I love it.
Isn't that cool?
It's so cool. So how did you first start noticing like past life themes showing up for your clients?
Your guides, so like, like you said, like don't worry about we'll fill in the blanks. Your guides, they do it very gently. It's like we're not going to give you all your superpowers at once. Like let's just start with, and then we'll add this, and then we'll add
Hmm.
this. So I was doing energy healing on someone and I started to pick up on past lives. And I didn't know that it was a past life at first, but then I was looking at it and I was like, this isn't like modern day clothing. This isn't a modern day. Like I am not, I'm in England. Like where are we? So the scenery started to change and the situations, like the life, everything was changing while I was seeing it. And then what started happening was that the version of them, right? That fractal, that version of them in that lifetime would start to come to me and they were asking for healing. So I was then simultaneously sending energy healing to that fractal, that soul, that lifetime. And then also at the same time, healing that part in my client in present day. And it was the coolest thing. I like when it the first, I mean, it's still the coolest thing. I'm still kind of blown away every time. I'm like, this is so amazing. But they come towards me, they step forward and they ask for healing work. And so I am healing that part. And it also simultaneously trickles down, right? to my client who's feeling that same energy, healing them too. And it's not just like past lives, like, oh, 1892 in London. It's also like past like versions of us. So a lot of people do the work on like their inner child and stuff. I've had like clients like
Wow.
teenager self come forward and ask for healing. And so I'm simultaneously doing the healing on both. And as a result, the healing work is happening in the adult version too. And it's really, really lovely. We're made of energy, and energy there's no bounds. That's why you can do energy healing from across the world. So if we're doing it from across the world, we're also doing it like in dimensions. Like it's so much bigger than I think people really give it credit
Mm.
for. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, oh, it's energy work. That doesn't work, because they're so science driven. That's what energy is, science, folks. Pay to like, and it's becoming more and more talked about
Wow.
with doctors, with medical communities. Mayo Clinic actually started recognizing energy healing as a modality, healing modality. Other hospitals are recognizing energy healing as a
Right.
healing modality all over the world.
So fascinating.
It's really fascinating, and it's really beautiful. One, that it's being recognized, but two, the expansion of it is being recognized, that we're able to heal ourselves in different dimensions. And that's where a lot of the healing work comes in, because we carry it so deep, deep, deep into our soul. Our souls need healing. It's not just our human body. It's our souls need healing too. Like if you think about it, we go through so much trauma. There's so much. I mean,
Yeah.
we as humans come into Earth wanting to
Mm.
experience all of these different situations, scenarios, emotions, everything. It's a lot of love, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of pain, a lot of betrayal, a lot of, self-worth, confidence. There's so much that our soul endures.
Yeah.
We need the healing
Yeah.
if we're going to keep going. Otherwise, it's like we're just beaten down. So we need that. We need the healing.
It's wild that we as souls choose to do this to ourselves. Like, why?
Guys, we evolve so much. The harder the lesson, the more we evolve. I'm like, oh, done. I'm done. Tapping out.
Tap me out. So like these last 2 years of my life have been so hard. Like probably two of the hardest years of my life I've had in a really long
Yeah,
time.
me too.
I feel like that's that way for a lot of people right now. I don't know whether there's like some energy shift or what's happening in
I think we're coming out of a cycle.
ah,
So our wings are about to expand outwards.
I truly resonate with that metaphor of like my wings coming out.
I mean, if you think about like, right, the caterpillar, it's like a little, like, we're like little worms, like
Yeah.
little caterpillar. Right? We're like struggling. We're like, trying no arms, no legs, trying to just get through life and not get squished.
Yeah.
That part's hard. And then as like the caterpillar changes into a butterfly, it's painful. I would assume, they're in like this little cocoon and they're like, and all of a sudden they're growing all these wings and
Hmm.
it's like, it has to be uncomfortable. So we're kind of like that, like for you and me at least, past couple of years, I feel like it's been painful. It's been hard. There's been times it's been scary, but these are all life lessons we signed up for.
Yeah. Scare. It's been scary.
Nuts.
Hmm.
They're like, oh no, she'll be fine. She can do it. I'm
Our souls are nuts. They're absolutely loony.
like talking to my guys the other day. I'm like, which one of you do I need to talk to?
I just want to be a star for a millennia. Just let me be a star. So this is so fascinating to me. Some of it feels intangible. So how do we allow ourselves to make this idea of past lives so practical and useful, even if we don't believe in reincarnation?
Okay, so you go to a therapist and you're like talking about stuff and you just can't make sense of it. So you're like, oh, I'm just going to move forward. But it's always going to stick with you. And it's always going to be like there, right? It's kind of like you just swept it underneath the rug and you keep moving forward. And I love therapy. I think therapists are great. But let's get back into like the past life. Let's start healing the past. So when we can start connecting with the past connections or past life, the, other parts of your energy. And they can't then see, oh, well, now this explains why I have this relationship with my father, because they never really understood it. They can go back into childhood and look at that dynamic. But for someone to understand, like, why you endured all that as a child, and like, oh, that was his parents. He learned it from his parents. And that could be true, right? But there's also that past life relationship, that past life dynamic. So when you can heal that part, it gives you a better understanding of who they are in this lifetime. An example that I have is a very close person in my life. Their sole purpose was to understand unconditional love. And I did not know that because I did not go into into that past life. And this relationship with them was very, very hard. It's very hard, almost like narcissistic tendencies. A lot of self-worth came up for me, all of this stuff. But when I was able to separate myself and understand that, okay, this person may be this person in my life in this lifetime, right? But let's start dissecting it. I have to remember that this person is also a soul trying to learn and grow and evolve and heal. So I separate myself from them and I understand that we're both souls and we're both in the same space and we're both trying to evolve and heal. Then you go deeper and you go into the past life. Well, what happened? What is their soul purpose? Why am I going through this? And the sole purpose is for them to learn unconditional love. And it makes me emotional because it's like,
Yeah.
how beautiful is that when you can take a breath, take a beat.
Okay.
It's not about your childhood. It's not about who did you wrong, who did you dirty. It's not about any of that. It's about understanding that we are souls and we have come here and we have set up this crazy dynamic with each other and this relationship. We are learning and we are evolving and we are healing. And then you go back into a past life and you realize what the storyline was in that lifetime. And then you ask, what is their sole purpose in this lifetime? What is the purpose of our relationship in this lifetime? And the relationship purpose is this person needs to learn unconditional love, and you volunteered to help. Wow. Wow. Right? So then when you learn all that, when you accept it, when you take it in and you look at that person, not with hate, not with disgust, not with disappointment, not with don't ever call me again. You look at that person and you're like, I see you and I get it. I get it. And I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I'm here to teach you unconditional love. But also you set your boundaries, right?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that.
Not going to treat me that you're not going to treat me that way anymore. And that's a boundary you have. But also you've also allowed yourself to step into compassion and love. And that's where God comes in. God is compassion and love. So when you learn how your soul is working, when you learn how the dynamics and the relationships and like all like the little intertwined, souls, and we're all learning and growing and evolving from each other, that's God's work. That's love. God is love.
Yeah.
And when we go through these different situations with people and also with ourselves, like let's connect with that. Like we may like have these unexplained emotions towards ourselves. Past life healing can also help that too. Where did that even come from? Why don't I trust myself? What started that?
Right.
And you go into a past life and you find that and you can heal that. And when you understand just all the different parts of it, it really heals the body in this life and the mind and the soul part. All of us, we become whole.
Yeah.
Coming back to wholeness.
Coming back to wholeness. Yeah. Okay, Seekers, I think this is a really great place to take a break. We'll be right back with the episode. Every successful business needs that aha moment, the spark where your passion meets your purpose. and your vision connects with the people who need it most. At the Magician's Vision, a branch of Three of Cups, we believe that moment begins with intuition. It's not just a feeling, it's your most powerful business tool. In tarot, the magician represents power, inspired action, and the deep knowing that everything you need is already within reach. Wands for passion, pentacles for abundance, swords for communication, cups for creativity. Together they form the foundation of powerful, soul-aligned business strategies. As part of Three of Cups, the Magician's Vision is here to help bring your vision to life, using the power of intuition, the magic of creativity, and the wisdom of experience to build meaningful connections with your community and grow your business with heart. Your vision, your magic. Let's make it real and fill your cup at threeofcupshealing.com. And now, back to the episode. Let's talk about your program, Energy Alchemy Transformation. I know that it's helped a lot of people heal and transform their lives. So the first part of your program is called Clearing and Healing. So what kind of energetic blocks or patterns do we tend to carry forward from other lifetimes that we need to release?
So many. There's, like I've mentioned, like self-worth. There's trauma around how we died in past lives, where we mugged on like a dark street. And that's why you carry this fear of walking alone at night. Or maybe you were abandoned. And so in this life, you have a lot of codependency because you have a fear of being left alone again. So there's so many reasons why. Most importantly, I love this part, and it's talking to my clients. The more you start talking to them, the more that they're opening up to you, and then like we go into like this past life, I start doing energy work on them and finding the past lives. We then go into the past life that mostly impacts this life. We start finding that those patterns, we start finding those traumas, and then we start healing them. So I'm healing blocks from past lives, and I'm healing the blocks actually from this life too. One of the clients I had, like that I mentioned before, it was like her inner teen that was interfering with how she is as an adult. And then from there, we clear those blocks and traumas. And I'll also teach them how to call in their energy and how to start doing the work on themselves.
So if I come to you and I'm like, oh my God, I can't move forward in my career, or I'm blocked with money, or I'm blocked with love, you basically like do the work to go in and be like, okay, this is where it's coming from. This is why it's happening. And you help release that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are there things that we have to do after our session in order to like remain in that state, or are the blocks just gone?
Yes and no. So I would say, okay, no, we're going to clear it and you're going to move on. And, we're going to work on that, right? We're going to like keep doing that healing work. But
Mm-hmm.
if you decide that you don't trust the healing work and you go back, the
Mm-hmm.
discomfort that you've been in has been comfortable for so many years, right? You've learned how to be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Right.
But what I'm doing now is we're clearing the uncomfortable. And now you've got to do the work. This is why a lot of people and healing just they have a hard time because the uncomfortable became so comfortable for so long, and healing takes work.
Yeah.
And people don't want to do the work. So that's why it's a 6-week program, so that they're with me for 6 weeks and we're going to start building a habit.
Gotcha.
They have to do the work. They have to continue to do the healing work. And that's why I give them practices to do. And then after we do the energetic blocks, and we start doing the energy healing and clearing all of that and
Okay.
receiving an explanation as to why we're feeling that, they'll start to feel lighter, hopeful, more clarity, and an understanding as to why they were feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like where the brain starts to work. It can start making sense of this feeling that I had, this emotion that I had, and now I get to make sense of it.
Mm.
So they're like, okay, it happened in a past life, or this is why it's happening. But all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I feel better now. So I'm just going to go with it,
Mm-hmm.
If the past life isn't something they resonate with. And then
Hmm.
after that, I start introducing them to more of their intuition.
Gotcha.
So when you start to hone in on your intuition, it starts building trust with yourself.
Hmm.
Also expanding that to not just trusting yourself, but trusting higher power, trusting God, trusting your higher self.
Okay.
By building your intuition, you start building your trust with yourself. And a lot of the
Hmm.
times, that's the theme. We get to certain places because we've lost trust with ourselves. We've lost that connection to ourselves. And so we have to get back to ourselves.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, you have to get
Yeah.
back to yourself.
Mm.
So I teach them, tools of how to do it, tangible tools that they can do at home,
Okay.
practices that they can do at home, such as like connecting with like their higher self. They can do automatic writing, which is a very powerful tool.
Mm.
Um, when you feel a little lost, because, like I said, we work a lot with ego and we learn, and it's scary. We're making like so many decisions in a day, and
Yeah.
we're outsourcing our power to other people too. It's like you ask your boss, oh, what do you think of this? You ask your friends, what do you think of this? You ask your parents, oh, should I do this? You outsource your power, you outsource decisions, thoughts, opinions, feelings, even going to your friends. What do you think I should do about this? Should I call him? Should I not call him? Should I call her? Should I not call her? So it's about stepping back into yourself too. And so that's why we do the healing work. We clear the blocks to allow yourself to start trusting yourself again, to allow yourself to start stepping into yourself again, and to allow yourself to become whole again.
In phase two
Mhm.
of your program, like you were just saying, you teach people to become their own energy healers. Is there a more in-depth process you can talk to us about what that looks like?
So I teach them how to call in their energy, right? So that they can feel that power
Hmm.
inside of themselves. And when you call in that energy, it's kind of, it's like meditation. When you call in that energy and you can start sending healing work to yourself, and you start opening up your intuition. Like how I did my journey by working with energy, my intuition started heightening and awakening and
Hmm.
activating. And that's what I teach my clients. So call in your energy and let's start working with your intuition. And some of the tools I give them are connecting with higher self. They can meet their guides. I have exercises and coaching for that too. And then they just become their own source. They don't need to outsource. They'll know within themselves on how to move through it.
Do you find your higher self through like meditation or?
Your higher self, yes, through meditation. I
Mhm.
have a beautiful guided meditation that I do. Then, after doing this like guided meditation and getting really comfortable and trusting, you can connect with them. Now I just sit here, I light
Mhm.
a candle, I have my own like little, ceremony that I do. Call in, I do a prayer. And I call her in. I'm
Mm.
like, all right, let's do it. And I do automatic writing almost every morning. What do I need to know today? What actions can I take to help me move through this? Or where do I need to put my focus so that I can show up as my best self? And I connect with my highest self. She knows. She's like, I got you, girl. And then it's really interesting about automatic writing, and I love it so much. It's like a magic trick. Go into like a meditation, get really quiet. You connect with your higher self, you ask your question, and then pen to paper, you just start writing. And whatever comes into your mind, you write it. You're dictating messages from your higher self. So the most important thing is to not get in your own way. Don't second guess what you're writing. Don't read it. Don't look at it. Just keep going. Keep writing, pen to paper. Don't take the pen off the paper, and keep going until there's no more to write. Now it's silent. Don't allow the front of your head to do the writing. Allow it to come from like the back. So when I connect with higher self, she's from like the back right. And I know that that's when I'm channeling. That's That's where the information is flowing. When I get up here to like my frontal cortex from the top of the, like my forehead, that's where the ego is. That's where like the front of mind, that's where your thoughts are coming in. And you don't want to be there when you're doing this exercise. You want to be back here. And this is where your intuition is coming from. This is where your higher self is coming from. So you do all of this writing, not reading it. Don't worry about the penmanship because I guarantee you it's going to be messy. And you keep writing, writing, writing. When you are done, you take a moment and you look at it and you try to read it the best you can because I guarantee the handwriting is going to look much different than your normal everyday handwriting, because you're channeling that energy, you're channeling them. And it's really fascinating. The handwriting is going to be different. And also, the grammar will be different. Instead of I should do this, I will do this, I am doing great, I'm doing, I am loved, whatever it is, it will be you. You will be hearing it from them and you're just writing down what they say. So when they're talking, they're saying you. Yeah, you are doing great. You will have opportunities coming. You should make chicken tonight. Like whatever it is that you've asked them. And what's really cool is that the more you do automatic writing, your higher self, she'll have like a penmanship, and then you start calling in the guides and doing automatic writing with your guides. It's almost as if everyone has their own style of writing.
So cool.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And sometimes I can tell who I'm talking to based on the handwriting.
Wow. Like which guide you're talking to?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah. She has a lot of like feminine energy, and hers is more of like my cheerleader. She's like my go girl. Her handwriting's like more, I don't know, not bubbly, but like more round.
Yeah.
And then there's like another handwriting that comes through that's more slanted. And like, yeah, it's different. It's wild. It's just a way to gain clarity that's just not yours, right? Because we get in our own way. We get in our own way. So let's get out of our way and start trusting.
We can do all of this on our own. Like I could sit here and automatic write and like learn the tools, but how do you as a coach help us with this work?
I teach you how to do it. I have guided meditations that are kind of like intro level to help you get into that. And then as when you start trusting that you can connect with them, then we start building on that. And you're like, okay, like we'll start with higher self and then we'll call in guides. And then it's like, okay, you've got this. So training wheels are coming off and you're just going to start calling them in yourself. You don't need to do the guided meditation unless you want to. A lot of people love guided meditations because it really grounds them and they need that visual, to get them to that place. And that's great. And sometimes you just don't need it. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just going to call them in and I'm going to ask. You're going to ground yourself. You're going to do like a smaller meditation and maybe turning on music. I love music when I do automatic writing because it takes me out of my own head and it allows me to just start channeling. I don't listen to anything that has words because then it's like too many words coming in. I'll do like instrumental and then it just really calms my body. It kind of puts me back into like a parasympathetic state and I'm just like grounded and just open to receive. Water has this ability also, it kind of like the sound of it puts you like in like kind of like a hypnotic parasympathetic. You're like you're there and you're present and you're grounded and you're just your body's calm and we're in the shower and we're doing our thing. And all of a sudden we get these like downloads. All of these like, oh, that's right. I should do that. It's some clarity hits. Those are your guides coming in, giving you like the message, your higher self. Ding, aha, I got the clarity I was looking for. Or maybe you're thinking about your mom and all of a sudden you get out of the shower and you see like a missed call. It's because our body is so relaxed and so open to receiving these messages. They're just waiting for us to like chill out.
Chill out. Yeah, they're like, chill out, girl, relax.
Chill out and listen to
Relax.
me.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't hear me when there's too much noise.
Mm.
You got to get quiet. So I teach people that. It really helps them start building trust with themselves and starting to get quiet and go inward. And Yeah, like start listening to themselves, start healing themselves.
And it must be so nice to have someone guiding you through that. Because I think sometimes we get caught up in our own insecurities and our own lack of self-worth. And it is really nice to have somebody be like, you're doing it. You're on the path. I see it. Because we can't see ourselves the way other people see us. So it is so nice to have somebody like you come in and be like, no, you're doing it.
And step by
And
step,
step by step. Yeah.
have this big feeling that lives inside of me and I can't break this pattern or, whatever it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so do it step by step. Okay, let's look at this pattern. Let's look at this feeling. Where is it coming from? So
Mm-hmm.
we go into our past life, we figure it out, we heal it, we start working with it, and now we start building on that healing. We start building on that so you don't go back.
Right.
So let's start doing the practice and moving forward.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. We have phase one, which is clearing and healing. We have phase two, which is becoming your own energy healer. Let's get into phase three, which is becoming your own intuitive guide.
So we've done the healing work. Now, we've already done their higher self, right? And we've done the energy work. So now that they're starting to trust their body and now that they're starting to tap into their intuition and connect with their higher self, then I take them into like the next step. So that is connecting with like their spirit guides. So we're going to connect with their spirit guides. We're not alone. We're never alone. We have a whole team around us all the time. We have loved ones, we have spirit guides, we have angels, we have, archangels. Everyone's around us. We have a huge support team. They're just on the sidelines. Call us in when you need us. And so I teach you how to call in and work with your spirit guides. And then after that, we kind of end it with the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records is a place where like all of your soul's memories, lifetimes, everything is compiled into these like books. And it's a library of every lifetime you've ever had, every scenario, every experience, every emotion, everything. It's a memory. They're memory books of your soul's journeys through being human and also even galactic. It's like the history book of your past lives. It's a compilation. It's like a photo album of past lives.
So not just like here on Earth, but also galactic.
You can do galactic also. Yeah.
Wow, our soul is like traveling the universe,
Travel the
baby.
universe. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, so we have this Akasha Records that has every record of our soul.
So, and it's important that we go through all of this higher self and spirit guides and stuff, because now I'm kind of working with your clairvoyancy and your clairaudiency as well. So we're like really building some trust. So we'll go there together. I'll teach you how to do it. You ask your question: in what lifetime did I have the hardships of financials? And how is that lifetime impacting my lifetime now? And like, what can I learn from this, and what do I need to know? You ask specific questions and you receive this book, and the book opens up, and you go into this lifetime where you get to see, like, oh, this is the lifetime that's impacting my financial situations in this lifetime. And you learn from that lifetime and how to apply it to this lifetime. It's like mind blowing to me sometimes where I'm like, holy moly, this is happening. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, of course it's happening. We were not going to be dumped here on Earth without a toolkit. They hooked us up. We just have to learn how to use the tools in our toolkit
And trusting that those tools actually work.
and trusting these 100%. Like they gave us this experience. They gave us this ability for a reason. We are all intuitive. They
Right,
gave it to us for a reason.
right.
They were going to just leave us here and be like, have fun. Cross your fingers. Good luck.
Bye, girl. Peace.
Exactly. We came to Earth with a toolkit. And part of our toolkit is our intuition. It is energy healing. It is being able to tap into our past lives to retrieve the memories because we came here with amnesia. We can't remember every lifetime. We're not that it would serve us no good. Imagine coming to Earth knowing what your purpose is, who you're going to meet, who you're going to marry, what heartbreak is, all of these things. Could you imagine like you already know all this stuff and you're like, thank God I knew that. But it's like, okay, well now I'm here and now I'm like, this is it. Like that's not the lesson. You got to go through the mud, right? You got to go and jump over rainbows and have fun and be in love and have heartbreak and do all the things. But what they also gave us is that when we do get a little stuck, we have access to our past lives. We have access to all of these other, ways of getting information to help us move through it. We have to access those and we have to be open to receiving, right? To be open to receive and to trust that this isn't just imagination. This is our soul's remembrance.
Is it possible to use the Akashic records as like a practice in your like daily, maybe not daily life, but in your like consistently in your life?
A lot of people, they get kind of like hooked on psychics and hooked on, Akashic records, right? And they become reliant on them for their next move because they don't trust themselves. So you can go to the Akashic records for guidance, but I'm not going there every single day to help with like every little hiccup that I go through because I've learned how to trust myself. I've learned how to trust my intuition. Yes, I'll go to the Akashic records when I'm like, oh, that was a doozy. What was that? Or and how can I move through this? Like why did I go through that? Like that was really hard. That's when I access the Akashic records. When someone does do the healing, and then I take them through the Akashic records, and like, there's different lifetimes where they're like these like powerful people, and like they have succeeded and they've overcome. And so the Akashic records goes both ways. Like it's not just like doom and stakes. It's also victories and love and stuff like that. And like one of like the questions is like, oh, and like what past life was I with my person that I am now? And what did that lifetime look like? It's so beautiful. That lifetime was so beautiful. Let's do it again. Okay. And they do it again because it's so beautiful. And they got each other and they helped each other in that lifetime. So they're helping each other again in this lifetime. Like one of my best friends, she lives down the street. And in a past life, her and I were best friends. We were little girls and we had grown up together. And I'm not quite sure on the year, but we did not have telephones. And we lived in like little, like, little houses. And we lived down the street from each other. And we were friends all the way up until like, I think like high school. In high school, her family moved away, but there's no phones. So we became pen pals our entire life. And in this lifetime, we just loved each other so much. We're like, let's do it again. But now she lives down the street from me. We met in this lifetime when our daughters were in the same kindergarten class.
Stop it.
Yeah. And we dress up for Halloween every year together. We have like coordinating costumes. But see, that's what the Akashic Records is. You could go in there and be like, oh, I really love this person so much. What was our past life? And then you get to see it and you're like, oh, that was it. Yeah, I get it.
That's so cool. Once we do start connecting with these higher realms of guidance, how can we stay grounded and balanced in daily life?
It is so important. So, what I teach a lot of my clients is because I am teaching them how to connect with their higher selves, with their spirit guides. And I have another program, it's an 8-week program where I teach them energy healing. And we go through all the clear senses and mediumship and Akashic records. So, what I tell all of my clients when I work with them is to take baths and showers because that will ground you. So, like a salt bath or a shower. Washing your hands with water helps ground your body. Eating nourishing, grounding foods after you do your spiritual practice, that helps. And also being outside, putting your feet in the grass or the dirt or the sand or just earth, allowing your body just to start grounding. I also teach them boundary tools as well because I'm opening them up to start receiving. messages from their guides and such, just to kind of like keep boundaries, keep it like more like business hours. I'll call you in when I need you and leave it at that. The grounding and the boundaries are very, very important. And they're simple. You can sage yourself. You can use a selenite wand for cleansing, Palo Santo. But mostly it's just let's ground with the earth. Let's put our feet back in and allow our bodies to kind of come back down to this dimension. Where we live is a lower frequency dimension. And when we do a lot of spiritual work and connecting with self and higher self and the guides, we go up to a higher frequency. So we have to come back down and like start grounding ourselves. And I'll eat like, rooted vegetables, tortilla chips. That's one of my grounding foods. I have a friend who likes macaroni and cheese. It's just kind of something that's a little heavier, like pulls you back down to earth.
So just to summarize, we have clearing and healing, which is phase one. We have phase two, which is becoming your own energy healer. And we have phase three, becoming your own intuitive guide. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but do you have any stories that illustrate how awareness of past life patterns created transformation in someone's current life right now?
So the one that had inner teen, and we also went into past life clearing, and we worked with her past lives and like why she was experiencing that as a teenager and how the past self trickled into her adult self. And now she has fully stepped into trusting herself and trusting her decisions and not hitting the brakes. She was hitting the brakes a lot out of stubbornness and unwillingness. And because she's been able to open herself up and start trusting herself and setting boundaries, like it's just created this like whole flow of life without the constant break hitting, like that she got in her own way and she was just like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. And it was like that, it was like teenage angst. But she was holding that as an adult and then, going into a past life and healing that lifetime where it developed that that was carrying it on to her teen years. And also like the dynamics of her family too. So we went into the past life and we understood, why she was experiencing that as a teenager because the past life dynamics were brought into this lifetime. They had to learn their lessons and they had to go through that stuff. So learning all of that and finding the acceptance in that, like, okay, like that's it. That is it. And she was able to carry that on and really have a huge transformation as an adult. And I feel like as adults, we get so set in our ways. Change is hard. Healing is hard. We get set in our ways. Change is scary because what if we change and our friends don't like us anymore? Or what if we and we're not showing up for the people who depended on us to show up in that way, right? Now we're taking our power back, we're changing, we're healing, we're remembering who we are, we're coming back to wholeness. It's a whole new ball game.
Yeah. And I know you talked about this a little bit already, especially with the unconditional love anecdote that you gave, but do you have any other insights about how past lives can help us in everyday choices and relationships?
With everyday choices, we start making decisions that align and resonate with us. So when we do like the past life healing, when we do the healing work on ourselves, we're stepping into ourselves more fully and more authentically. So we're making decisions that align better with us
Hmm.
and in the direction that we're going and the trajectory of this lifetime where we're supposed to be going. In relationships with past lives, by going into the past lives, we have
Hmm.
a better understanding of what the relation dynamic is in this lifetime and how we can better navigate it in this lifetime. Also, like what boundaries do we have to have with this person? Like we get like more of like the how to. How do I have this relationship with you in this lifetime?
Hmm.
Well, we go to the past life, we understand that, and we can bring it here. And it's like, okay, now I have some clarity. Now I know why you do the things you do, and now I know what you're
Hmm.
seeking, and now I know what I'm looking for. Now I know what my purpose is in
Right.
this relationship. I know what I'm seeking in this relationship.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out, for instance, self-worth in this relationship. So it kind of gives you more clarity to be able to understand, like, if I have to learn self-worth in this relationship, it's easier for you to walk away,
Yeah.
right? It's easier for you to set a boundary because you know what you have to do,
Mm,
right? And it's your choice. Are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? It's like coaching tools. It's like, okay, well, this is what you endured in this lifetime. This is why you're having this pattern again pop up in this relationship again with the same person again. What do you want to do? We told you, we showed you. So now you get to make the choice. Okay, well, I'm going to learn self-worth. Am I going to stay in this relationship and continue to feel like crap the whole time, hoping they change? Changing because it's a two-way street. It's a karma contract. You've got to change too, or you change and you leave. Like, no, it's self-worth. I learned my lesson. I'm holding on to it. I love myself. I don't need to be here anymore. Not with you. My contract is done with you. And you're either coming with me or you're not, you know? We're going to do this together or,
that's really profound.
right? Isn't it? And you move on. And you just understand that we're just souls having these like human experiences. You know, and it's like some people, they live in the fear. So you go into these past lives, right? And
Hmm.
you find like the fear. So let's go back to the self-worth. So you're in this relationship and your purpose is to learn self-worth. And either you do it or you don't. You do it. You're like, I'm empowered. I found my power.
Mm,
I love myself. I know my self-worth and this person isn't responding to that and they don't want to hop on board with me. So I'm gonna be out. I'm leaving.
right.
And I trust that there's somebody else out there for me. If this is a romantic relationship, or I trust that if this is a parental relationship, um, I trust that I'm going to be held, you know, and loved by somebody else, whether it's an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, or maybe a friend's parent. You know, we're all intertwined. Now, people who decide to stay and avoid their purpose, avoid their lesson, and they're like, "No, this is self-worth, but you know what? I don't want to leave them because I don't want to be alone." That's fear, fear of being alone, fear of not having the safety. But let me tell you, folks, we have more than one soulmate. You're not going to be alone. That's not it. You will learn your lesson and there's another person for you. So there's no reason to have that fear of saying goodbye to somebody and having that fear that there's not going to be somebody else. There's always going to be somebody else that's going to hold space for you. So if it's a loved one, like a parent, or if it's a lover, or if it's a best friend who's like, you're really going through it and they're like taking advantage of you at every turn, and you're like, this feels really yucky, there's another best friend for you at the next corner. You're never going to be without. Thanks, God. Thank you. The important part is learning the lessons and moving through, evolving, loving yourself so much the way that your guides love you, that your angels love you, that God loves you. And you're like, okay, yeah, I love myself this much too. My higher self loves me this much. So I'm worthy of it.
And I'm worthy of this much love. That's what's coming up for me right now is I'm worthy of this much love because that's something that like I know has been one of my
Yeah,
life lessons is my sense of self-worth. And so even hearing you say that, there was this little part in my head that was like, but am I worthy of that? And it's like, yeah, you are, girl.
you are.
You are. Like you are so worthy of that.
And if this person isn't going to hold that for you, that hold that space for you and let you know how
Yeah.
special you are and how loving you are and how beautiful you are, there's another person who is just waiting to hold that space for you. They can't wait to hold that space for you. And you know why? Because that energy has just expanded. It's like the vibration of that energy has just gotten bigger because you matched it. So you're like, oh, I know my self-worth. I'm fucking beautiful and I'm loving and I'm worth it. And that energy you take, you're like, peace, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then you take that energy and that person who's going to hold that space for you is like, yeah, you're here. I love you. And it's so magical because they've mirrored it.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
mirrored it.
Indra, this conversation has been so amazing and healing and wonderful. And I'm just wondering from you, what is one thing that you want people to know about energy work and healing.
The benefits surpass so much. Our bodies are innately able to heal themselves through energy work. This is how we were always fit to heal our bodies. Yes, medicine does help. Yes, doctors do help. But energy healing is the way our bodies were always meant to heal. And when we send our bodies this energy, this beautiful energy, our bodies, our human bodies match that frequency, and our bodies know exactly what to do. And that's the magic of being
Mm,
a human. We're combining human and soul. We're combining human and God. We're all parts of God.
mhm.
And we have this beautiful innate ability to heal ourselves, and that's through energy work. How amazing is that?
So amazing.
Right? So you have a headache and you put your hand on your head. Like, why do you think people who have headaches just automatically, oh, I have a headache, and they put their hand to their head? It's your body telling you, guess what, dude? That's healing. That's that's healing.
The hand is a part of helping your head to feel better.
Yeah. Oh, my belly hurts, and everyone puts their hands on their belly.
Oh, I see what you're
You know what I'm saying?
saying. Oh,
Yeah. Or,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm so heartbroken, and they hold their heart. You're
Oh,
sending
yeah.
energy to your body already, not even knowing. Your
Wow.
body knows. It's part of it.
Mm,
It's just who we are. Or like when you were little and you were sick, I don't feel good. Mommy, and your mom would put her hand on your back or your forehead or
mhm.
your belly. That's healing work.
Wow. And we just innately do it.
You innately do it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I just help people like call it in and start trusting that like that's coming in.
What a beautiful conversation. Indra, where can people find you if you'd like to be found?
They can find me on my website. It is Anlah, ANLAH, onlawellness.com. I'm also on Instagram. It's Indra Kelly _ energy healing. So they can find me there too.
Indra, do you feel complete?
I feel complete.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, what's staying with me from my conversation with Indra is how practical soul work can actually be. Like, I didn't know that I can use past lives as a way of healing the life that I'm living right now. And I don't believe that I have to, know that I was a pharaoh or some, famous poet to benefit from my past life awareness. Because it's really not about that, is it? It's really about noticing what fears, emotions, or dreams keep repeating in our life, and how we can get curious about how and when the reasons for them came to be. What I learned is that it's not about uncovering every past life, but about letting our soul's wisdom make this one just a little bit lighter. And next week, we are diving into the science of past lives with therapist Jennifer Sleeper. Jennifer uses quantum healing hypnosis technique, or QHHT, which was developed by Dolores Cannon, to help people tap into their past lives for clarity and healing, connection to their higher selves, and yes, explore past lives and other soul experiences. Y'all, Jennifer has such a unique perspective, and I cannot wait to share it with you. I'm Julienne Irons, and this is the Hanged Woman podcast where perspective is power. If you're inspired, please like, share, and follow so we can keep the conversation going. Until next time, hang in there, seekers.